this is going to be painful. I'm gonna be honest, it took a lot of effort and willpower to jump out of bed this morning, to get in the car, to make the 2-hour drive to get here. And it's taking a lot of effort to take the first step and get out there because it looks very, very cold. It doesn't help that I haven't gone out for photography in a while, in a few weeks, so I'm kind of rusty, but we all know the only way. We just have to push through it and do it. So far, it's not horrible and it looks beautiful. Alright, so I'm in St. Joseph, Michigan this morning. I've been here many times, but it's for a reason. It's beautiful and the weather is just amazing, ideal. So I'm walking on this walk along the beach. Lake Michigan is on that side, even though you can't see much right now. And one thing I wanted to point out already is that I'm always paying attention to possible compositions in that direction because the lake is there, so the background's pretty empty, pretty clean. So even though we are walking that way, we are looking that way, we have to imagine all the subjects here against that empty background. And that is when I saw these two benches with the tree. And from here, they don't look as much or as anything of value. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go behind them and try to capture those three things against an empty background. And you'll see, I think, it's gonna make a huge difference. I mean, it's not perfect, but I think it worked. I love it when we can get a photo almost right away because it puts me in the mood, you know, and I start noticing more things right away. Oh my goodness, it is nasty, especially walking against the wind. It is cold out here. You know, I'm very lucky because even though it's still a bit of a drive to get here, hour and a half, 2 hours, this part of Lake Michigan is blessed, in my opinion, because it gets a lot of snow due to the lake effect. You don't need a snowstorm to get snow, plenty of snow, as you can see. Alright, so there's not a whole lot of snow, it's just an inch, maybe even less in some parts, but it's beautiful. I should be able to find images here and I'm just not seeing them. I'm having a hard time, and that all comes down to being rusty, is what I mentioned earlier. I haven't been out for photography in a while, so I'm less sensitive to what's around me. I think the cold was affecting my judgment. I was being a bit too harsh with myself out there. Now that I've had time to look at the images, they are not that bad. Not my best by any means, but still not terrible for being as rusty as I was. It's just ice. All right, it's falling now. I was kind of hoping to photograph some silhouettes of people walking around, but other than a couple people walking their dogs, there are not many people out today. I love how ordinary places like this little town can transform into something out of a dream in conditions like these. Sadly though, I had made a mistake I wasn't going to realize until it was too late. The storm was still dumping snow, but it was moving on. So little by little, the atmosphere started to fade. Which began to reveal more and more of the clutter on the streets of St. Joseph. The compositions that worked just minutes ago were now less simple, less beautiful. Well, it's not going to be because of lack of snow that I don't make good images today. I'm gonna have to come up with better excuses than that. That's a cool looking building in the snow. Yeah, I couldn't ask for better conditions, and the town is pretty cool too. Now, if you recognize that building from a photo of mine, you've been around for a while. I have to thank you. I made this photo many years ago. This is the police station, I believe, in St. Joseph. It's one of my favorite photos I've made here because the conditions were better. It was snowing harder. I don't know, I love that photo. I'm gonna take it again just in case. I just did with using a bench over there, which I hadn't done before. One of the many reasons why I love to revisit the same places over and over, because the way you see is always changing. You notice things that you haven't noticed before, and you don't notice things that you noticed before. So it's not only that the places, the landscapes, the whatever change, but you change more. Alright, so it's not snowing as hard now, so the atmosphere is kind of gone, sadly, so it's become even more challenging now to find good images. It's very hard to isolate a subject, especially in a town like this one. So I don't know, I'm gonna keep walking around because it's still beautiful. I'm gonna be trying longer focal lengths, trying to isolate some subjects or something, but I'm gonna start heading back to the car because even though it's not snowing now or not as bad as before, it's still very, very cold, and I think I need a break. I've been out for a while now. Okay, there are way more people out now. I just made it to the car. As you can see, I just realized I made a rookie mistake. I swear I'm very rusty today, but when I got here there was a lot of atmosphere and I decided to stay by the lake, which was my mistake. I should have gone downtown with the atmosphere because, you know, it's a busier environment which benefits much more from that atmosphere. The lake was fine, but you know, it's still pretty clean. The backgrounds would be pretty clean without the atmosphere. Now I should have gone downtown first, come here to the lake second. I'm gonna put the camera away. I'm gonna put it in the bag because of the condensation. But yeah, I need to get in the car. I'm very, very cold. It was so cold that I could barely talk at that point, so I decided to call it a day and headed back home shortly after. Coming to us from the UK, today I want to recommend the work of Steve Bennett. He's got some beautiful black and white photos, but he also has some color work. So please check it out following the links in the description down below. Thank you so much, Steve, and thank you so much to all my patrons for making trips like this one possible.